Welcome to Tabletop Interviews. I'm Peter Bryant with Throwi Games, and I'm here with Thom Wilson.
Correct.
And you come to TotalCon, and we were talking just before this interview started about how you came to this con like a million years ago.
Sure did.
Right? And then you took a break because family, and there's a lot of people's story. Mm-hmm. And then you came back, and this was your first con back.
Correct.
Right. So, as you were saying, TotalCon is like kind of near and dear to your heart as like a kind of like a home con.
Sure.
And then, but then you kind of got your own con going.
I do.
Right? You get your own con game going. So
I do.
So you have ShireCon. I went to the second one, I believe, right? Because this will be the third one this year, right?
Actually, no, this will be our seventh.
Seventh? Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
No. All right then. I went to maybe the fifth one.
Probably.
Okay.
Sure.
It was in the VFW. Was it VFW hall? It was a theater. No, it was a theater.
That was year 5. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Year 5.
That was a good little con. I like that. It's it's like intimate.
Yeah, we get about 150 people. We've been growing. Year 1 was 55 people, and now we're up to about 155, 160 this year. So we'll probably get to about 175, and we'll start to cap it because venue space is a little tricky where I live. So
not only that, I like the fact that it stays small. Like
it's intimate. It's family.
Right. Yeah. And is it? Trying to remember. Is it 2 days? It's 2 days, right?
It's technically a day and a half. So half day Friday, all day Saturday.
Right. That's right. And so where did you have it this last time?
I had it at the VFW in North Canaan. We had a problem with the venue the year before returning there, so I reached out to local venues that I thought could fit, and the commander at the VFW has been trying to grow that space to be more of a public space for other events, and he was very excited for us to talk to him, and he bent over backwards for us. They're real great people there. They got bars on site, they got food on site. It's all real good, and the space is great. And they welcomed us with open arms, and it was perfect space for us this year. So
yeah, I guess because a VFW hall, they're gonna have a bar, they're gonna have a restaurant because they serve food and drink.
Yeah, they actually have 3 bars.
Really?
So for some people, that's a great thing.
So is it like a bar upstairs, and a bar downstairs,
and a bar outside?
A bar outside. That's right. Yeah. I heard you talking about that. And you're talking about vendors might be outside.
Well, to optimize the gaming space, to make it more comfortable for people so they're not so tight, and the noise levels, et cetera, we're going to try to spread out a little bit more and maybe move some vendors to different parts of the venue. So we haven't really firmed that up because we've got to talk to the commander this year and see what he wants to do. But there's plenty of extra space that we didn't use, and I'm feeling we could probably lean into that a little bit more.
So what drove you to like start your own con? Because to me it sounds like a lot of work, and maybe some personal risk money wise and stuff like that. What inspired you to do that, to take that leap?
Well, I think like most small cons, you have gaming groups in your area that don't want to travel to bigger cons or don't want to have that big con experience, thousands of people, et cetera. And I wanted to have like a kind of a robust game day, let's call it, where it's more than just a couple of groups, right?
Right.
So I reached out to Doug Ray and Mike Battalato from North Texas. I reached out to Alex Kammerer from Gamehole Con and a number of other con organizers and said, give me the do's and don'ts, give me the risks.
How do I do this?
Right, without like taking a bath, right? Because that's the thing is if there's money at risk.
Yeah.
So I have my own company, my own publishing company. So I have an LLC. So I just rolled it underneath that to make it, so there's less likely to have some physical pain.
Right. Less likely to lose your house.
Right. Yeah. And then I looked at, the things they said don't do your first year. Don't do, ever if it's this size. So, don't do panels. Don't do cosplay and LARPing. Don't do a lot of miniature wargaming because that eats up space year 1. Let's figure that out, right? So after I took all that feedback, I realized, if I just pull off RPGs and light board games, I can maximize my space and get everybody to have a good time. Their insight was fantastic because it gave me a good vision of what to do, and we've been kind of keeping that same formula and just growing the numbers, and it's been great.
So how do you get the word out for something like that when you're starting this out? How do you let the world know that there's this convention they should come to, and that they should hey, come to my convention?
Yeah, I mean it's word of mouth. If you're involved in the industry a lot, you know people who know people, and you just kind of get word of mouth going. You also have social media, of course, and I was going to a lot of cons, so I was talking about it at all the cons. And you know, there's a good great gaming group in New England and northwest corner of Connecticut. It seems remote, but it's still 3 hours from Boston, 3 hours from New York City, 3 hours from Maine, you know, Pennsylvania. So it's sort of like that little tight space where it's accessible by a lot of people. And I got 55 the first year, 75 the second year, and just continued to grow it slowly and trying to keep the same recipe.
Right.
So.
It's wild to me that, you know, because I live down in Maryland, so a little south of here, not too far to drive. Like, it's like right at the edge of what I want to drive. And it seems like I keep coming to cons up here over and over again. You know, you get Rising Phoenix, you get Total Con. I went to Shire Con. There was one I used to go to called OGC.
Okay.
There's just so many cons up here, and like so few down where I am. Like, they just started doing the Page in Philly, which is like an hour and a half from me. So that's fantastic.
Growing into a real big con already, right?
Yeah, it is. But it amazes me how many cons there are up here that are good, and like how few that we had down where we are. But we're really populous. I mean, you know, like not far from New York at all. You know, Baltimore is a city. It's a major city. Then we got DC right there, and then all the surrounding, like Virginia. They're all like the Alexandria and all these cities around there. There's a ton of people. You would think that we would have more conventions, more gaming conventions. We just don't. I don't understand that.
Well, a lot. It's like, you know, why aren't there like a million conventions in New York City? Well, venue space is absurdly expensive.
Oh yeah, that
so when you
makes
get to
sense.
a more populous area, the venue space demands such a high amount of money to retain and to secure. Then you're pushing into higher badge costs, and you're driving some element of people away. So it's very complicated. Actually, the bigger your area is, actually it gets more complicated.
Yeah. You'd think, well, I have more people. It's like, yeah, but then I got to account for more people. So
Right.
it's like, I'm not taking a little risk. I'd be taking a big risk.
So you got to lock up a real big venue. Then now you need 500 people, and if you
Right.
don't get 500 people, you take a bath and you're a one and done. And that just happens a lot. It's like I look at small cons like I look at breweries. They pop up everywhere, but can they last? It's a challenge. So
Yeah, we're going to another one. I think it's next month. It's Game Face, which is down in Baltimore.
I haven't heard about that one.
Well, it's a little con, like you said, in a brewery. It's what made me think of it.
That's very cool.
And the guy that was in the booth next to us at Page, he lives in Baltimore, and you know we got to talking, and I was like, "Oh man, you live right next. You live like right down the road from me in a way," and he's like, "Yeah, we should come to this convention I'm running." I'm like, "All right." He said, "It's in a brewery." I'm like, "I'm in."
Yeah,
right.
Sign me up right now.
Done. It's free for one.
Right.
It's free, and then it's in a brewery, and it's all weekend, and it's just gaming. And I'm just like,
that's
"Well,
great.
damn, I'm in." Yeah,
That's a good way to do it.
Let's do this.
Yeah. If you've got a low risk financially to do something, then you should always try, right?
Yeah, and I think it's probably free because a brewery is like happy to have all these people, all weekend that are going to be drinking their beers.
Sure. Right.
So it's good
Yeah,
business.
that was the case with when we signed the deal with VFW, is that they have the food on site, and they like, as long as you kind of try to steer your guys to our food, I'm like, I'm going to drive them straight to your food building. And I think they said they made more money in that weekend with us than they have in any other event in 9 years.
Nice.
So
they're happy.
they want us back.
Right. It's a paycheck for them.
They loved it. It was great.
So did they cut you like a good deal because of that?
They cut us a great deal.
Okay.
I told them I would give them half of my silent auction money. So our con is starting to be known for a lot of good price auctions, and we don't have space for live auctions, so we do. It has a paper, you put in what value you want to pay for an item, right? And we roll 20 to 25 items per game slot, so we'll do 75, 100 items for the weekend.
Right.
And it's all good deals. And it's all stuff that gets donated or out of my collection that I'm trying to part with anyway. So
you're a big collector?
Oh yeah. I'm hopelessly lost in collecting.
Right.
But we'll give a lot of good stuff away or get stuff, you get really good deals. And I told them, I said, I'll give you half of what we make. And I did. And, with the money they made at the bar, the money they made with their food, and the money from that, they just said, when's the next one?
Yeah, let's do this again.
Yeah, right.
All right, so when is that? When does
September
that happen?
26th and 27th.
Yeah.
So we're a September con. We used to be the third weekend, now we're the last weekend.
So it's still kind of warm.
Yeah.
not too cold, not too. It's a good time. It's
We had
a
like
good-
high 60s, low 70s that weekend this year, so it was really good.
Yeah.
They brought a band in outside, which was hysterical. We didn't ask for that; they just did it because they wanted to.
Okay.
Playing old 70s rock, which was cool.
Nice.
Outside was near the gaming space. You couldn't hear it inside, but if you went outside at the outside bar, you could check it out.
Oh, so if you want to leave the gaming, go like just be.
They have an outside patio or there's an
hang
outside
out,
bar.
yeah.
You can sit out there and drink and listen to music. Well, they did that between games, and they bent over backwards. They were the first venue that we worked with where when we said we are going to have this many people, they staffed up and they got enough food to cover it. Because
Wait a minute.
in years past, we told people there were 100 people coming in and they were unprepared.
Right.
So, and this is the first venue that really did it right. So we love VFW. We'll continue to support them as long as they'll have us.
Well, I think that's the first time. This has been the first time at this hotel that the hotel was prepared properly for the number of people here. Because every other year, you'd go to the bar to get a drink, and it would take forever.
Yeah.
Because they had one guy working, and I didn't see him here this year, so I'm assuming he had enough of that. But
I think they learned. I think COVID did some stuff to hotels, so they're trying to still recover from that. But I think they learned that. Oh yeah, you're bringing 1,300 people. We'll make sure we're there.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they close the bar early, you don't want that. We're
Right.
going to be working. We're going to be out late at games and want to drink a little bit after. So.
Well, not only that, but they're going to lose a lot of money. It's
Sure.
it's like you're closing an hour early because that's when you normally close.
Right.
But if you could stay open another hour, I mean, there's laws and stuff that you can't get
Sure,
around.
of
But
course.
but if you could stay open another hour, you're missing out on maybe $1,000 of people
or more
drinking. Yeah.
or more. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So tell me about your games. You also make games.
I do.
And
Yep.
so tell me about this stuff you've made. I know you've worked with some stuff for Shadowdark,
Sure.
which is really popular right now.
Sure. Yeah, so I started a publishing label in 2010 called Throwi Games. People can't really pronounce it, and that's, in retrospect, I could have gone with a better name, but that's just, there's history there we won't get into today, but
Right,
there's
right.
a reason why I called it that. And I started publishing just, little stuff. And then I started, publishing bigger things and working with other companies. I've written for Pacesetter and Frog God and a few others. Mostly published for myself, and I'm about volume, so I produce a lot of work in a quick amount of time because I'm trying to build a big catalog so that I get recurring PDF sales. So that's sort of my model.
So you have some passive income.
Oh yeah, so like I have probably 130 titles out there.
Wow.
A lot of small stuff though. Some of that's like 8 pages, 16 pages, 24 pages, nothing really big. I've done some big pieces, like 172 pages and that kind of stuff. But my sweet spot's around that 32 page mark. A couple rule systems, etc. And it just generate a lot of work. Lately, I've been writing a lot of Shadowdark because that's the hot system, and I actually really like Shadowdark. I think Kelsey's done a fantastic job with that system.
Right.
It hits the sweet spot for old gamers and new gamers as far as mechanics are concerned. Right, you get a little bit of OSE, OSR feel, and you get that 5e feel on some mechanics as well. And I've been writing a lot of Shadowdark stuff. I also have been leaning into Robert E. Howard, Conan, overlapping Shadowdark.
Talanian.
Yeah, so he's got Howard and Clark and a bunch of other inspirations all bundled up into one world, which is fantastic. I've just been writing Shadowdark adventures that have that sword and sorcery feel of Conan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, I see.
And I've adapted a couple of those of his more famous stories into adventures. We changed the name to protect the innocent, sort of thing. But,
File off the serial numbers.
Right, exactly. But it's I ran Slumbering City here this weekend, which is a spin on the Dusk of Zuthal or the Slithering Shadow, depending on when Howard released it. I have a Kickstarter right now for the Tower of the Outer God, which is Tower of the Elephant, basically. So I've been doing those just because I really wanted to write those stories into my kind of adventure writing.
Yeah.
So Shadowdark's been my sweet spot, but I do Gamma World, I do BX, I do... I've done a little 5e. It's not my favorite, but I'll write for that. But mostly BX, Gamma World, and mostly NES OSR I'll write for. So I've written a lot of stuff. I've got an aggressive publishing schedule this year. I'm probably going to put out close to 14 or 15 books this year. So yeah, I've got one after another coming up.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I just like to write.
Yeah,
it's not my day job, but I still find the time. So.
Do you pretty much work alone?
Yes.
Is it just you freelance for other people? And
right, I do a little bit of
develop
freelance for people. I've got a couple books coming for Frog God that I've just finished to rewrite for one that they wanted that they're going to get next week that they'll publish probably sometime later in the year. If people reach out, like Pacesetter reached out and said, "Do you have anything we could publish?" I said, "I've been thinking about this idea. I'll write it for you if you want it," and I did. That was called The Lost Triptych, which is probably one of my top 3 favorite adventures I've ever written.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they got that one. And I do freelance. I do either word rate or one cost, because I don't want to get involved with royalties. It's a pain for people. And
Oh my God!
I don't want to deal with it either. So I don't want to be hunting people down for stuff, and they don't want to be trying to track it all. So it's just easier if I just buy, I just sell my product at the word rate or just one final price where we just wash our hands of it and done.
Yeah, that's what we do with Solarian. We don't like to do royalties, and again, like you said, it has nothing to do with the fact that we want to rip anybody off. We don't want to pay people, whatever.
Yeah,
it's we forget to do the royalties. Like Jason was just talking to Alan Hammock.
Yes,
and he was like, we're like 6 months behind on royalties, but it was like $12, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like that big a deal. It's the principle of it,
right?
And so Jason talked to Alan, and he's just like, can we just pay you a flat fee and be done with this? He's like, it has nothing to do with ripping you off. It has everything to do with getting you your money.
Right. It's just easier for everybody, So you just figure out what your time and your writing is worth, and you either settle on a word rate or a total fee, and it just worked. And that's what we do with Pacesetter. Is I agreed to write I forget what it was, about 125,000 words for them. Ended up being about 175,000 words.
Damn, that's impressive.
I went over a little bit.
Yeah.
And we had agreed on a word rate, and I didn't want to put the screws to the Barsh guys by charging them more. So I was like, look, I'll donate the other 50,000 because I think it finishes telling the story correctly. So they took it, paid me, they published it. It was it's a great book. I always do word rate work for Frog God, and I give them a good rate because they donate a lot of product to ShireCon, and we have a good relationship, Del Webb and I. So
and when you work for these other folks developing material, that also gives you I guess what you would call street cred, right? It gives you a lot of exposure. And I'm not saying you're working for exposure, but it doesn't hurt to also have that.
Right. Well, getting your product out there and getting a lot of product out there, it just people start to figure out who you are and what your writing style is. There are guys that can't stand my writing style, and there's people that love my writing style. It's just what it is, right? You can't appeal to everybody. But I have a lot of work out there now, and I get a steady income on PDF sales. I get a steady income on print-on-demand sales. I still get people emailing me out of the blue looking for back product, old product from 2012 and stuff, and that's kind of cool. I can't live on it,
right?
I'm an indie publisher at the end of the day, but a little bit, all that money I make just goes into paying artists. I don't use any AI art in any of my products. I don't do any AI writing in any of my products. It's all I want it to be that old school feel.
Yeah.
So I'm always, buying art. Like so, right now I'm paying for art for products I don't plan on publishing until 2026. I'm like way ahead of it. I get those artists enough time to do their work,
right?
Not be rushed. And I sit on it, so I'm always paying it, kind of paying it ahead and then sitting on it for 6 months to a year. And
it also breaks it up over the year instead of having to chunk out one giant check,
Yeah, I mean, that money that I make doesn't go into my pocket. It goes just right back into the machine. So
well, that's where we are pretty much right now. We earn enough to pay our bills. It's because we actually do a lot of physical products, so we have a warehouse, and they do our fulfillment and stuff. But of course you have to pay that warehouse every month because you have to pay for storage and pay for all the stuff that they do. And then, of course, we have a Shopify. You got to pay for that. You got a website. You got to pay for that. So we pretty much, I don't think we've ever taken any money out of the company. I think it's all just, but it also keeps money from coming out of our pocket.
Sure,
It pays our bills. Exactly. And we had that discussion. We were like, are we a hobby or are we a business? Because if we're going to work and remain a business, then it has to pay for itself.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's just a hobby that we're paying for.
Right.
So we decided we wanted to be a business. So we've geared everything towards if we have to take money out of our pocket to pay a bill, it means we're not doing everything we need to do, and we double down and start getting stuff done and making money. We'll throw out a big sale, or we'll do some kind of event or something. Right. And we've started vending lately. We never used to vend, and just in the last year, we started vending, and it's actually worked out really well, because it used to be, you had to take all this product to a convention, and, so do you ship it? Do you, all this, but we've decided that the vending that we do is all going to be stuff that we can drive to, and we'll just put it in the car and drive to it.
Sure.
So if we were to go to Gen Con, we would not vend.
Yeah, that's a tough road right there.
Right, or anything.
And the
like
cost to vend there is just
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, but like if we went up to Game Ho Con, we probably would not vend there just because we'd have to take all this product out and whatever we didn't sell, we'd have to bring back.
Sure.
And it's just that cost could cause you to lose everything you made.
Yep.
So
yeah, there's a couple of us independent publishers that will sometimes get together under one banner and then sell product at certain cons.
like rent one booth and
Yeah.
like everybody.
So there's a group called the IPU, the Independent Publishers Union. It involves like Skeeter Green and it was Jim Wampler, it was Talanian, it was from Hyperborea, Silver Boulay, myself, Levi Combs who Planet X Games, and a few others. And we would go under one umbrella, split the costs, sell our products, and take our cuts and then move on. And it's good, but it's tough because some cons you make a lot of money and some cons you don't make anything, and it's sort of hard to figure out. Like we'll still be doing. Well, the IPU will still have a booth at North Texas every year. That will always happen because that's like all of our favorite cons, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we'll still vend there, but like we were going to do Page last year and we didn't do it. We were at Game Hole 2 years ago and it was good, but it wasn't that great because that's got a bigger vendor hall now. It's
Right.
got much bigger. So we have to pick and choose. And
I think you would if you did pay, I don't know if you're planning on doing Page next year, but if you did, I think you would do well in the vendor room because we did the vendor room and we weren't even in the best spot. We were kind of against the back wall, and we still did really well. And this year we made sure that we got on top of it and got a good spot.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how well we do.
yeah, we were talking about Page 3. And I don't think we've settled on it yet. I think maybe the vendor space is all gone at this point.
It might be.
Yeah,
It might
so
be.
we might be passing again. But I went to Page 1 there and I vended, but I vended more from I got to get rid of some of my collection. So I did very well.
Yeah.
So I can't complain there. But I was mostly selling like stuff out of my collection from, just overstock that I need to get rid of. I probably made, like $1,500 for the weekend, and 1,000 of it was like old D&D stuff, and 500 was mine. So it was like Throwi
cool.
Games was making money on that one. I was just trying to liquidate some stuff, and it was good for that. And I had a really good time there. It was a good con. I missed Page 2. I had some conflicts there.
Yeah, and you said that the Independent Publishers Union, you said it's kind of not, it's not what it was, because a couple people have gone and doing their own thing and stuff.
Right.
But is it still around? Do you guys still do
Yeah,
that?
we still work together on things. We try to figure out which cons we all want to try to get to, and a couple of people are from the Midwest and in the West Coast, and then there's us on the East Coast. So it's tough to get us all together at times. North Texas is where we usually, every year we're all angling at that one. So we'll all be at North Texas with lots of products.
When is North Texas?
This is the first weekend in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we'd be able to make that this year. I do want to go. I've never been. I keep hearing
It's a great con.
Yeah,
500 people.
I hear so many great things about it.
And their actual live auction there is phenomenal. They do a midnight auction that's off the rails. It's out of control.
Right.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
But it's a really good con. I've been to, I think they've had 15 or so, and I think I've done 10 or 11 now. So I usually am going to North Texas every year.
Did the guy up there?
Well, it was Mike Bottolato, but now it's Jim Kitchen now does it like he does most of the cons. I think Jim Kitchen is now the auctioneer for most big cons. So
Wow, I never thought that would be like your, it could be your niche. It's like
he does a great job, Jim Kitchen.
Like, what do you do in the industry? I'm an auctioneer. Like, wait, what? Yeah, I travel to different cons and I auction stuff off.
Right. It used to be Frank Mincer and Tim Casca. Used to do the Gen Con one, but I think Jim has taken over for them as well. So Jim will do Game Hole, Gary Con, North Texas, Gen Con. So he's an auctioneer now.
Yeah.
And he's good about getting people, inspiring people to pay a little bit more to buy the thing that they need to buy. So
yeah, I think Tim and Frank kind of hung their hats up a while ago because they're getting a little.
It's a tiring business.
And they're getting up there. And
I mean, their knowledge is immense
Yeah.
on the product and in the industry, but it's a tiring long day up there.
Frank will give you a story about every book. Well, we wrote this.
Yeah, right. No, Jim does a great job. He moves it along. Loud, boisterous voice. You can't miss him. He's bigger than life. So he does a good job of getting people to buy things. If it's a charity auction, it's even more like he's in your face about like, come on, it's for charity.
Right.
Go another $10, go another $20, go another $100, whatever it is. And he does a good job of raising money for what needs to be raised. So
Excellent. All right. So where can I speak English? Where can we find all your stuff?
So my website, through throwigames.com, will have
How you spell that for people?
THROWI Games. Right? That'll have my full product list on how to get copies of it. It'll have stuff on ShireCon. It'll have just news on what I'm doing. I've also just started a monthly newsletter, so people can go there to subscribe for that. And I'm at probably 6 cons this year, so if you're looking for, you bump into me. I usually have cards. I usually have product even with me. I usually carry a couple things in case people will ask for it. So
you'll be at North Texas, obviously.
I'll be Rising Phoenix, North Texas, ShireCon.
You're going to be at ShireCon?
Yeah, I'm going to be at ShireCon. Believe it or not, I'll be there.
All right.
And my 3 kids are now like heavily involved, and they do a lot of the work for me the day of. I still do most of the work beforehand, but they make sure that I can go shake hands and hang out at the bar with people while they help run the con, which is year 7.
I probably saw them there.
Yeah, I have 2 daughters and a son.
Yeah.
And they all are there, and then there's a bunch of other young volunteers that also help out. My wife does behind the scenes, just never wants credit, but she does a lot of work behind the scenes, helping clean up and set up and making sure that I get I stay focused.
Awesome.
So my website's the best place to go. The ShireCon does have a pretty active Facebook group to chatter about all the things that are going, but you can get obviously you can find ShireCon also at tabletop events. So
awesome. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.